The $80 million lottery prize was barely in my hands. Wrong. In my last life, the court awarded my $80 million to Clara's sister, Lila, but now she was denying she even had a sister. So, who really got the money? Even more suspicious, for the past year, every time Clara got a call from her family, she was full of annoyance. Her alcoholic, abusive father and her gambling-addicted mother were always finding new ways to ask her for money. Why would she suddenly want to go home for a visit? She had to be hiding a secret. After Clara packed her bags and said goodbye, I quickly disguised myself, bundling up so no one would recognize me, and secretly followed her, determined to get to the bottom of things. But when I trailed her to a rundown apartment building, I was surprised by what I saw. This was the most dangerous part of the city, with a crumbling building and cratered streets. And yet, Clara walked into the building with a smile, where her boyfriend, Tyler Hayes, was waiting for her. The apartment walls were so thin I could hear their conversation. I pressed my ear against the wall and clearly heard Tyler's concerned voice. Clara, your parents treat you so badly. Do you really have to go back? You're carrying our child. I'm so worried. Clara's voice was full of happiness. Don't worry. I'm not just going back to take care of my mom. I'm also getting my birth certificate so we can get married. Don't you remember? The doctor at Grace Hospital said the baby is perfectly healthy. That's the best hospital in the city, so you can stop worrying. Grace Hospital? I made a mental note of the name. Seeing Tyler's honest, worried face, my suspicion that Clara and Dustin were having an affair mostly vanished. But I didn't let my guard down. I immediately called an old classmate who worked at the hospital, lying that Clara was my distant cousin, and asked her to pull Clara's prenatal records. Soon, my classmate sent over the records. They clearly stated that Clara was a little over 2 months pregnant. I pulled up my chat history with Dustin. 2 months ago, he was on a business trip for a whole month, a fact his colleagues could verify. During that time, Clara was at home every day, doing chores and keeping me company. The two of them had no opportunity to even see each other, let alone have an affair. I walked home in a daze, a heavy weight crushing my chest, making it hard to breathe. My biggest theory had been that Clara and Dustin conspired to frame me after learning I'd won the lottery so they could run off with the money. But now, all my assumptions were shattered. Clara was innocent, and it seemed Dustin was too. So how did the tragedy of my last life even happen? I remembered the surveillance video used to frame me in my last life and immediately opened my phone to review the last 3 months of footage from our home security system. But everything was completely normal. There were no scenes of me mistreating Clara. No yelling, no abuse. Everything was so peaceful it was unsettling. I sat in the living room, pacing anxiously, as despair and confusion washed over me like a tide. For 3 days, I racked my brain but couldn't find a single clue. 3 days later, Clara came back. Unlike the occasional weariness she used to show, she was now vibrant and glowing. She smiled at me and said, I brought back some eggplant from my hometown. How about I make you eggplant parmesan tonight? I forced myself to stay calm, looked at her and said slowly, let's not do eggplant, Clara. It seems pregnancy brain is really getting to you. You forgot? I'm allergic to eggplant. She stood there, stunned, then scratched her head awkwardly, smiling as she admitted she'd forgotten. Her expression was still natural, and she went about her work as efficiently as ever, even more talkative than usual. As I watched her expertly handle the household chores, a thought suddenly flashed in my mind. I took out my phone, made a call, and a cold smile touched my lips. The next morning, a frantic knocking broke the silence. My neighbor's panicked voice yelled, "Come downstairs, quick! Your housekeeper, Clara, she jumped into the river." I slowly opened my eyes, feeling no panic at all. Instead, I got up, put on a full face of makeup, and stared at my reflection in the mirror, letting out a cold laugh. It was time to rip off the hypocrite's mask, and this play was just getting started.